Whew, okay. I'm not exactly sure how to start this video, but I failed Camp NaNoWriMo. Yeah. Hey, what's up guys? It's LDJ Writes here, and the D stands for determined. I say determined because that's how I'm feeling after this whole thing. Today is August 1st, so Camp NaNoWriMo is officially over. My goal for the whole month was to write 38,000 words of my first draft of my mystery novel, Court of Rooks, and I ended up writing about 34,000 words, give or take. I was off of my goal by 3,717 words, so I actually almost hit my goal, and that was with me taking about a week off of writing. So that's why I say I feel determined, because while yes, I did fail my goal, I'm very proud of what I was able to accomplish this month. And not even just my writing, but for right now, I'm going to keep this writing related because this is a Camp NaNoWriMo wrap-up vlog. But yeah, this month was like my real foray into the whole AuthorTube space. So not only was I attempting to write a bunch of words every day, I was also recording and editing videos and thinking up of ideas and, you know, researching YouTube stuff. So there was a lot of things I had like to kind of juggle this month. And I also went on a vacation for a whole week. I had other stuff in my life going on. So for me to actually get close to writing 38,000 words, especially with this being my first time attempting Camp NaNoWriMo in over 2 years, I think I did a pretty good job. And if you also failed your goal by however many words, if you failed it by 15,000 or if you failed it by 10 words, I feel like you should not be discouraged or disappointed in yourself, because at the end of the day, you still tried and you still wrote something. And writing anything is better than writing nothing. That's what I tell myself all the time. Some days I wouldn't hit my daily writing goal because of whatever reason. And then when I'd be typing in the word count in my document that tracks everything, I'd be like, you know what? I might not have hit my word count, but I wrote a really good scene today, or I really like how my story's progressing, or I like how I characterize this character in this chapter. I tried to keep myself in a positive mindset throughout this entire experience, because it really was just about seeing if I could even attempt this style of novel, which is very different for me, and just trying to see if I can commit to a schedule. And for the most part, I was able to commit to a schedule. Of course, there were days that I didn't write, and there were days where things were out of my control and I was not able to get as much written as I wanted to. But all in all, I was able to be consistent, and I am pretty confident in saying that what I was able to write has been some of the best things I've ever written. I want to take a second to talk about some of my favorite things about this entire process and my whole Camp NaNoWriMo journey. And I guess number one would be just my main character himself, Dominic Alter, Detective Dominic Alter. I'm really having a fun time writing about him because he's so different to any other protagonist I've written about. Like, he's not like a teenager. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's a middle-aged man with like no loved ones in his life, really. He's very jaded. He's very pessimistic, and he's got a real dichotomy of good and evil within him, which is very different than any character that I've like had the pleasure of writing. Of course, I've written villains who are similar to him, but Dominic is not a villain. He is the protagonist. So he particularly has been a really good challenge for me to challenge my writing, to challenge my ability to portray complex characters on the page, and just the way I'm attacking this story has been really eye-opening for me in the way that I've been able to see what I can do myself. Like, a lot of the time when I write, I kind of second guess myself a lot, and it's weird because I've seen success with my writing. Like, I've not officially published anything, but I have posted first drafts on Wattpad. I have over 2,000 followers on Wattpad. I've got a book that has over 200,000 reads. So like, I know people like my stuff, but it's hard for me to internalize that and to even get myself to like what I'm writing. Like, of course, I like what I write, but like, I don't know if this is making sense, and maybe like other writers can relate to this, but it's like sometimes you just read what you're writing and you're like, I'm not sure if this is good. So yeah, there's that. But throughout this entire process, I've not really had those thoughts as much as I would in previous first drafts. There's certain scenes I've written, or like certain lines I'll write, because I'm trying a new kind of prose style in this book, where I'm being not necessarily more descriptive, but I'm injecting more of a distinct and unique voice into the prose itself. Because while it is third person, I'm writing it in the way I would believe Dominic would be having his thoughts in his head. So like, it's not first person, but it reads as if the narrator is an extension of Dominic's brain. So that's how I've been kind of approaching it. So I've really enjoyed doing that. And going back to certain scenes, I recently wrote a scene where the serial killer that Dominic is chasing after has left him a note on his car. It's their first, point of contact, the first time that either of them are directly talking to one another. And it really kind of sets Dominic off on multiple levels because of the contents of the note. I won't say what's on it just for spoiler reasons in case I do decide to publish this book. So I enjoyed that scene. I am also enjoying the dynamic between my two characters, Dominic and Morgana. They kind of have like an older brother, little sister kind of rivalry going on. At the moment, they really do not like each other. They keep getting in each other's way, but I like how they're getting to know each other and the banter that is between them. And I also am really enjoying my cast of characters. And I remember recording my first video for this vlog, and I was like, dang, this is a lot of characters. And I kind of even underestimated in that video when I started writing that this book really does have a lot of characters, but I think it helps make the city of Black River feel more fleshed out. Like, it's not just like a set and then you got your actors and then you've got like a few background characters. Like, no, this really feels like a living, breathing city with real people who exist within it. So I'm enjoying the cast. I am struggling a bit with juggling everybody, but I think that just comes with the first draft. When it gets time to revise, I think I'll be able to, cut a character here or expand on a character there and just make everything feel a bit more natural and cohesive. But those are pretty much the main things that I've enjoyed about writing this book so far. I'm really looking forward to keep diving into this manuscript and to keep cranking out these chapters, because I've really been on a crazy productivity run in the last week and a half. So I'm really ready to just keep jumping back in and get as many words written and finish this book as quickly as I can. While there were a lot of things that I did enjoy about working on this book non-stop for a whole month straight, there were definitely a lot of challenges that I faced, and I kind of touched on them already with the whole, I'm attempting a new genre and I'm taking on a different style of character and story. But motivating myself to try and write over 1,000 words every day was pretty difficult for me, because you really have to just train your brain to committing to a routine and sticking with it. Because when I initially set out my goal and then I calculated how many words I'd have to write a day to reach my goal, I was like, 1,000 words is not that many words. Like, I've written 1,000 words in a day. I've done that in 2 or 3 writing sprints, but I was kind of basing that on a different time, I guess, where it was easier for me to write, where I had less responsibilities and, just more inspiration. And just, I don't know, I feel like my brain is a little different now that I'm getting older. Like, it's getting harder for me to write a lot of words in a single day. So 1,000 words every day for 30 days, 31 days is actually kind of a lot of words to try and write. So that was one of the struggles that I faced, and just staying consistent as well. I mean, that's pretty much what I just said, but staying consistent, and even outside of writing, just staying consistent in things in your life is pretty difficult. So that's something that I also had to deal with. But some tips I would have if you're going to attempt, Nano in November or Camp Nano next year is to just try and carve out a time in your day where you can do nothing else but write. Like, just carve out maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're able to just sit down at your computer or your laptop or whatever you write on and just carve out that time to write. I did that for myself. I found I was writing most of the time between 6 and 8 p.m. That's when I got most of my work done. So just coming up with a schedule for yourself can be really helpful to tricking your brain into getting into a routine and helping you stay consistent with whatever your goals are. And another thing that helped me was participating in writing sprints, specifically through live streams that other author tubers were doing. Apologies if I forget your name, but I'm gonna shout out some of those author tubers who were doing live stream sprints that really helped me power through my manuscript and get those words on the page. So authors like Brielle writes, Mick is writing, Cody the writer, Becca Tobar, I think Lynn D. Jung did a couple. There's obviously some others that I'm forgetting, but I really appreciate you guys for what you did. You guys might have seen me in the comments, trying to keep things fun and light by making a couple jokes and stuff, but really I was trying to engage with the community, and I was really having a fun time being a part of those live streams. And it made me want to, possibly do one of my own in the future, either by myself or with other author tubers if they'd be willing. So if you guys would want to see something like that from me, and you guys would want to participate and talk to me on a live stream about whatever, about writing, my story, or about your stories, or even anything that's not writing related, just let me know, and I'm very open to, doing a live stream for you guys. But yeah, like I said, those writing sprints were very helpful for me to, get those words on the page and stick to my schedule and just have like uninterrupted writing session. All right, so before I get out of here, I just wanted to detail my future plans for this project now that Camp Nano is officially over. I am about, as of recording this, it's now August 3rd, I'm about 40,000 words into my draft. I'm reaching about the midpoint. I'm in the middle section of my plot outline, so I've got about half the book left. So my plans are to try and finish this first draft by September, so that when October comes around, I can start revising it a little bit, and then when November comes and the actual Nano starts, I can start another project, which I will probably reveal at a later date because I have not made a decision yet. I don't talk about it much on this channel, which I plan to change, but I have a whole literary universe called the Eternal Keyverse that I write in. All of my stories take place in it. Actually, not sure if this current book takes place in the universe because it's not really fantasy or science fiction, but like it could fit if I wanted it to. So for the moment, let's just say it is in there. But regardless, I write in this huge literary universe, which means I have so many ideas for books that may never even get written just because I don't have the time. But yeah, well, my future project that I will be doing for Nano will most likely be one of the ideas that I've had for, a couple years now. So my plan is to finish writing this first draft, revise it a little bit, and then start my next project in November. I'll be making videos on this project still. It may not be as frequent as every week, maybe every 2 weeks, or maybe I'll just give you guys an update whenever I feel like it. Make sure you're subscribed and that you just keep checking my channel for any updates on this project if you want to stay updated. But yeah, those are my plans for this project and future videos. But I also wanted to take this time to just ask you guys what you guys would like to see from me on my channel. Like, what kind of videos would you like? Would you like more tutorial style videos, or just more writing vlogs? Or I tried uploading a new style of video where I kind of critique the Marvel Cinematic Universe and give my ideas on how I would have handled a certain thing. That video didn't do the best, but I had a really fun time making it, so I'm looking into making more videos like that. Maybe not exactly on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but on other things that have writing, like TV shows or video games or comic books or anything like that. So if there's anything specific that you would like to see, make sure to let me know in the comments, and I will definitely consider it. And lastly, I just want to take a second to talk about, failure for a second, because personally, failure is something that I've experienced a lot in my short life. I'm only 24, but I have gone through kind of a lot of things that have kind of like derailed my life, or just made me feel like I'm failing at this certain thing that I'm doing. Like growing up, I know the way I film my videos, you can kind of see my soccer trophies in the background. And growing up, I really thought I was gonna, go to college for soccer, and it was always a pipe dream that, maybe I'll get to play professionally somehow. But certain things throughout my life just didn't work out, and for a long time I felt like I failed at that certain part of my being. And also, like, when it comes to school, like, I am still in college. I am going into my senior year. I'm an English student. I should have graduated realistically about 2 years ago. I should have graduated in 2022. I'll be graduating in 2025. So that's a 3-year discrepancy from when I should have graduated. And for a long time, I felt like, I failed at that, especially because I transferred from the school that I was originally going to when COVID started, and I just really got in my head about it. And with writing too, sometimes I get in my head about certain things and I feel like I'm failing, or like I feel like I'm a fraud writer, and that imposter syndrome starts to kick in. But this experience with Camp NaNoWriMo has really kind of helped me in an almost therapeutic and cathartic way, because while I did fail my goal, like I didn't reach my goal, and I could have, and there were things that I could have done to reach my goal, and I could have made a different kind of video bragging about how I hit my goal, but I didn't. And I feel very okay about that, because I enjoyed the work and the process of what I put into this project. I am very confident in what I'm doing, and that is very rare for me, like I might have said earlier in this video. And I just want you guys, if you might have failed your project, or if you've just encountered any kind of failure in your life, I just want you to think about, the process to like how you got there, even if you did fail. Like, failure is not always a bad thing, especially if you're trying out something new or you're doing something unfamiliar. I think just the mere fact that you tried and you put your effort in and you gave it your best is enough sometimes. So yeah, I just don't always look at failure like a bad thing, because maybe you failing can lead you down a different path that leads to success, or maybe you learned a lesson that you needed to learn that you wouldn't have learned if you might have succeeded. So just try and look at things like that. And yeah, the end of my first Camp Nano series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to hearing all of your experiences. And yeah, let me know how your camp went in the comments. I'll be sure to reply to every single message. Let me know if you made your goal, what your goal was, and what your plans are for the future. I've been LDJ Writes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.